today, the 16th day of September 2020. Like one family, we want for can discuss some things them with some of the healthcare workers then they do, we not fine nas alone. Because they no say the job na for serve humanity. And if they take them, then for able for give to the best of their ability, how we the people go able for appreciate all the efforts them where they do. When the government of Sierra Leone being fail for meet and pay them, we able for talk as much as we could at that time. Take to this time around, we're not hearing nothing again. So now, if we find out, say, then look, they behave in such a manner where not they go well with the work way and they do, it's just right. Make we come and talk like one family them how we go see for address this issue. But before we can dig deep, make we look inside today on COVID-19 status update. 654 tests was conducted. For the last 24 hours, the labs then analyzed 654 tests. Out of that 654 tests, 7 turn out for be positive. And the 7 will turn out for be positive. If we want for do one by district, that's how the numbers then look like. Western area urban 3, Western area rural 2, and Kenema 2. 2 from Kenema, 2 from Western area rural, and 3 from Western area urban. We still get work for do. Because before, now be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But now it's above 5. We still get work for do. Make we people understand, say, coronavirus is still there. And we just get for land for live with them for now. Now, so the other numbers then look like 2,133 people them. Now they don't test positive now, na salon. A total number of waiting 2,133. Now they don't test positive for COVID-19 na salon. For the last 24 hours, nobody not lost in life to COVID-19. So the total number of death for COVID-19 na salon still stand at 72. The one that in an isolation center where they respond to treatment now 415. 415 now then in an isolation center we get COVID-19 and then system with government no bots. For the past 24 hours, we get 6 people we recover from COVID-19. We get a total number of 1,646 people we don't recover from COVID-19 now, na salon. In quarantine, we don't begin go below 200. We get 192 people. 192 people we they in quarantine right now na salon. So we'll be there from, imagine, we'll be there from 1,000. Now we don't go below 200. Let's just keep it because the less people we will get in quarantine, that one they go help we, even though the NACOVAC then go still they conduct more tests. Because the more tests to conduct, the more we go know who that gets and who that's not get. But this number in quarantine, they look good. The one that was on discharge from quarantine, now 11,098. 11,098. Make we look na the Manor River Union countries them. Salone, 7. Dana for today. Guinea, 50. Liberia, 6. Ivory Coast, 34. A total number of 97. I know some people go and say, Salone, better they 7. Look, Guinea, 50. Look, Ivory Coast, 34. Yes. But for each one case, we need to be worried. Each one case. Because you never know how much a person don't spread them, and would I go meet way if your immune system not strong, then we'll be talking about something else. So coronavirus in one grain case safe, not find a place. The cumulative death. Salone, 72. Guinea, 63. Liberia, 82. Ivory Coast, 120. We get a total of 337 of people them we don't die na the Manor River Union countries them to COVID-19. Now that one day, now the status update for today. And right now, the enforcement is still on. And then they para now better one, tigi one. And they para na tongue. The enforcement is on for make people them adhere for wear face mask and social distancing and then shop them. We will come into we program proper for today. Waiting we hear, no good. And we don't want that for we healthcare workers them, na Salone. Now that's make, we want for can talk about that. There is another video, and I try to get them up, where our make we watch, where that one day back, concerning Connaught Hospital. You hear all waiting Lansana say. Make we see waiting we get.
I go admit at Apotlock Hospital. Yeah, it did a Friday, last week, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, then do a transfer to Connaught. We go through the triage, then do vital signs them, and the mandatory say all patients forgot blood glucose. For the EBM monitoring, blood glucose monitoring, and it's mandatory and it's free of cost. But the nurses, the way they do the triaging, then they still demand 10,000 euros from each and every person. And to me, it looks like a syndicate, because there is no way somebody demanded this unit. That practice is going on in Telmise in our aware. So from the triage, because they not get paid, they carry the power going at the observation unit under, now they lay down for days. And the protocol is where they transfer a patient to another hospital, then they get a liaison. That hospital, they phone this hospital, they give the diagnosis, they give the name, they give the age, they give everything, they arrange a bed. Now when they don't arrange the bed done, and they give clearance. You know? Interestingly, we can also the power not get paid. All prescription they write for me, I buy all the medication, the power get 2 cartons of medication. I will show you online bed. You understand here? They say the power not for eating, not for drink. The very old man, he was critically ill. So when you don't make him eat and drink, you say you go operate him, obviously, you don't compromise the health. Then at the end of the day, the bar was not operated at all. You don't understand? So in the day, they send a COVID test. Now, don't need this COVID test. This COVID test here, so now they say the results, they say you don't carry it. But the rationale, I don't understand that. Because whether it's positive or not, you still have to do the surgery anyway. And in the first place, if they were hesitant, they should not have brought him into the observation unit. Because other patients, if he get COVID, it means he don't go get the whole day. So I don't understand the rationale. They say that they wait for COVID results. But I don't they can't once you go in a theater, we don't get any COVID results. Because they get fumble where they work now. They do bad practice now, so we go under. Anytime we go to this hospital, it's money. Anytime. Before they show people them who sign for all payments now, so that cost recovery for them. You know for papers, but the nurses and other staff them, they demand money from patients, and that they affect patient care. So they said the COVID test for be available. The medical superintendent is fully aware of all this because I went there and made a formal complaint. He sent one of his senior staff that won't condom. We catch them, then they receive money from patients then, even though it's free of cost. Yeah. And eventually, the COVID result of the Parker, it was negative. They still advise them for carry the Pagona theater, no one cared. The Pagona office, he called them, instructs them, they no act. Even going to house, he called them, nobody no act, sir. So as a result, now the pardon died. They didn't have the word, the one carry go to mortuary and not allow them because the partner chief. When chief die, you not get control of the body until the chief then they hand over the body to the family. This hospital is out of control, sir. Nothing works here. Everybody is a boss. All man they do what you want. You go to X-ray, again it's a different story.
Woman, the accident. Now we can over there start a light from there and they transfer now. The experience of the mammy damage, serious one. And they don't treat her now and they say yeah. Okay. We can work about me man and they beyond the pass 10,000 decided to take money. Okay. All the extra first one I 450,000. Yes, they posted the man doctor can another doctor come. I can't write another X-ray say for go pay 450,000. You say, well, this X-ray we don't do the X-ray. They still they sell out there, say that they pay me. I feel pain, I had money, the man don't get money. Also go lend money, 450,000, go do the X-ray back. Story.
You go into the blood bank, it's a different story. And this is how we go now money. I'm going to pursue a lawsuit against the medical superintendent of the hospital because he's in charge of the whole hospital, again for take responsibility. And he's also involved in the care from day one. He's fully aware. He even left the office, a kind of observation, he looked the prior records, he read all the records, and he advised them. So I sue the hospital. The state of the hospital is very, very filthy. If they tell you, say this now, government hospital, but you no go believe. This government, they try for improve health care. The government is doing best, but the workers them are not cooperative. They want let this government fail, and we not go allow that. The place dirty. Where you guys say they smell piss, no so you smell caca because the place is not clean. Where I ask them, the staff then tell me say they have not been paid for a period of 9 months, so they are actually on strike. If you look at the hospital, go around and look for yourself. You go tell me if not so you expect hospital for day. Will be small, will the kind of corners get different smell. The hospital centrally. This hospital, honestly, is a killer.
This hospital, honestly, it's a killer. That's not the last word where we get from the gentleman, not the video. It's a sad one. But we, na family, not so. And we no more get for address the issue now. Everybody gets a part for play. You know that? Myself know that. We all get part for play. And today, we want to play our own part. As a media house, as people that we concerned, as we don't deny where we call for the government of Sierra Leone for step up. But again, we need the people where they work there for do their job. From the first report where we get to this second report, I don't think there's anything good to write about. The first report where we get, this second one, just try for make we understand, say, waiting be there for that first report, not true. Because the first report tell we say, then go there, they observe. Not only in Connaught, but PCMH with Rokupa. Then even now the provinces, they observed it. They observed it. Even at the provinces. But the neglect of we caregivers, the neglect. And these are the same people where they say, oh, they're not pay we, oh, they're not this, they're not that. Is this the way to work? Una had left make somebody die, then talk about the report. Let me play this video. You hear this person new explanation. Say the chief gave a loss in life. Hey, Sierra Leone. Where you look calm, 1956 law. So in every aspect of the talk for review the Constitution, one way or the other, if they come back, it can bear we. Make we know see, we really need for review the Constitution. Because we go, we come, it they come after we. And with waiting you don't hear now. I see people there say, where the Minister of Health and Sanitation? Where? What's in they go on? Who side they say no for pay? They still they take money na people learn. What's in poverty don't do to we? That we not even get integrity anymore? Make a come with Usman Toli. Make we hear what's in a get for we today. Yes, Usman Toli, you get the platform, sir.
Oh, thank you very much, Triple A, and welcome to all the listeners and viewers. First of all, I will thank Radio Democracy for putting that information together, and also Triple A for bringing the relevant information. We will allow you for look into the issues and then able for analyze them correctly. And also, I will thank the Director for Civil Society on Health and Human Rights, Victor Lansana Kuruma. That first man with them in the interview, na Radio Democracy. Naina, the Director for Civil Society on Health and Human Rights. And interestingly, Namani Asabi very well, na the neighbor, na Allentown, where me can get deep conversation. I know I'm very well. And I also appreciate the fact that they do their own independent assessment and research. So from there on, they're able to get what's in at the bottlenecks them and the challenges them with the health sector they face. So now on their issues here, they can talk on. The way how we look at the issues then, I look at them from two perspectives. I look at them from the medical staff perspective, the bottlenecks then, the challenges then. I look at from the medical staff perspective, within the medical sector. And then I look at them from the government perspective. Yeah, where encompasses the Ministry of Health. Yeah? So, let's start with the medical staff. We're not surprised, Triple A. We're not surprised because, remember, the Corruption Perception Report. It tells we say the health sector now the third most corrupt sector in the country. Remember? So the videos, the interview speaks volume. Clearly. Listen to the gentleman where he come out publicly tell me say any say good on money. And for most of we don't visit Connaught Hospital, we know say even the forms Anything where they do in that place, they ask for money. Yeah? So this now some of the challenges them when they face. And most of them here, they do it without the knowledge of government. Yeah? The nurse system, most of the time, then they go out for go do their own private job. Then they go inject people in. Yeah? Pay less attention to the central job, when are the main job where they work for. Yeah? And also, there is lack of unprofessionalism. And this is evidence in almost across all the sectors there in Salon. When you go, you see how people in the behave in the office system. It will be surprising for say there is no professionalism at all. They see whether they're on the phone, they're talking on the phone, whether they're under, in the Allah. There is no professionalism. That not only in the health sector, but then they across all other sectors then. So that are one of the factors then where they affect the health sector in our country. Yeah? Also, when you think about the attitude, the habit and the behavior of people, yeah, I quite remember where the former president, ABK kind of power, I think one of the things they will do is declare attitudinal change. Yeah? With attitude in that country, it speaks volume. It contributes to a very large extent to the downfall of some of the sectors then we talk about tonight. Yeah? And you clearly listen to Victor Lansana Kuruma. Not everybody. It's only a handful of them. Yeah? But to be honest with you, on professionalism is very, very common. A very common thing now we sectors in Nasalon. And we attitude, we habit, we behavior, the way they behave is serious. Yeah? And one important observation people where they make Panic Corruption Perception Report. Yeah? It says the reason why we get so much corruption in our country is due to poverty, greed, and lack of integrity. I think the director forget to add that. Greed and lack of integrity. Greed in the sense that if you are a doctor, yeah, a doctor in a hospital, then they pay you fully, and they pay you. Then they ask for more pay, then they give you pay, and at the same time ask for more benefit. You know, if we say you will take that job seriously, but instead then take the private practice more serious than that of the government job. So there is greed, and lack of integrity. Yeah? So I think we the individuals will get a role for play. The other day, as you say, AAA, when we see the government they comply to the demands of the medical staff, we come out, we condemn what the government did do. We speak for them. But again, when you look at them, the attitude of we the citizens, we the staff, or the staff, the medical staff, again, tell well. I think it's important. Then let's go to the government side before they bring down the own conclusion. I think some of the issues we don't speak about them. The constitutional review. Yeah, you listen clearly to the director. Yeah, he said the 1956 Act, when they talk about the midwife and the nurse system, he said it needs to be reviewed. Because I think that Act give enough power to the Ministry of Health, yeah, for all the nurses here, the medical staff them into account. That is what he is saying here. So therefore, the Constitution, especially that part, needs to be reviewed when it comes to medical issues then. Now that in the traffic talk. Again, we attribute this to the government, because if the government don't review the Constitution, I think things like this should have been looked into. But the failure of government for looking into these issues just, exacerbate the problem. Yeah? And then, very important also, and these are some of the issues then we would only address in this forum, times that numbers are AAA. Lack of monitoring mechanism. The monitoring mechanism in no day in our country. We can quite remember when His Excellency, the President, HEBO in Ghana power, we see him in the first 1 month. Yeah, they go and then institutions them, organizations them, they go do spot checks. And indeed no say in order for last. Because a lot of new rule. Yeah? Indeed competent people then, where they work at them various institutions here for do this job. Yeah? If you do not run, for example, he will say, they lead by example. Yeah, you don't do it in the first 1 to 2 months. Then strengthen the institutions then. For that they make sure then they do spot checks at their institution. I think that one of the things that this will lack in our country today. Remember AAA when we talk about EDSA and EGTC. One of the fundamental problems then, where our oversight committee established was technical audit. Yeah, then institutions here they do spot checks. Yeah, so consequently, people and they go about to do what they want to do. Yeah, so this is a very important challenge, a bottleneck in our country. We get for the monitor. This is the only way we will make sure people can get fear and do what we expect them to do. Yeah, and when you talk about a monitoring mechanism, it will go with logistics. You have to provide the logistics. And this is why we blame the government. Because if you want to let somebody do in functions properly, you have to make sure, you provide the logistics. Yeah? For make sure, you do what you're supposed to do. Yeah? For example, when we talk about education, we talk about inspectors then. Yeah? We are no inspectors. Yeah, if inspectors and they know they do their job. Probably, most likely, because of lack of logistics. Yeah? So that's a fundamental problem. Yeah? And this is a general phenomenon. So for conclude, AAA, we don't listen clearly from the director, Mr. Victor Lansana Kuruma, he make a very good submission. But yesterday, in my own submission, at this very house, we'll talk about democracy. I tell them, I say democracy is a process. And it involves the responsibility of the international community, yeah, as clearly laid down by the concerned citizen from Australia, yeah. If the international community then, then they tamper with the democracy, it affects, yeah, it gets ripple effect, yeah. And also, as government bodies, we talk about ACC, we talk about the judiciary, we talk about the legislature, we talk about departments, we talk about agencies. It's a responsibility for all. It's not just the government. We all get a responsibility as citizens as well to make sure the democracy works. And this is a clear example. Yeah? If you then give a job, for perform, as important as the health sector, you put money before. There is no integrity. There is no professionalism. Yeah? An institution, a sector, I repeat. Why make I repeat this? Because we lives, they hang on this thing, on the health sector. Yeah? If you, as a health professional, this is where the high level of professionalism for them, because they deal with human lives, not a man alive. They take money, put on before. Your attitude, they stink. Yeah? And then again, you turn around, they begin blame on the government alone. Yeah? It really tell well. So, conclusively, Yeah, democracy. We talk about accountability. We talk about inclusiveness. We talk about equality. We talk about so many other things. Yeah, it involves collective responsibility, and this is what you would expect from individuals, from government bodies. And it's a process. We'll start democracy today, get them or straight away. Yeah, they at different levels. The question we'll therefore ask about democracy is, how is today compared to yesterday? We don't move further in terms of democracy, in terms of democratization process. We don't move one step ahead, or we move backward. Those are the questions we'll be asked, we say. So democracy is a collective responsibility, and that is a process. So I will stop here, now give chance to other panelists then. Thank you very much, Tripoli, and thanks to everybody who is listening.
All right, thank you very much, Usman Toli. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Make a call to Dr. Aissatou. Make we hear waiting he gets for we. Welcome on board, Dr. Aissatou Kake-Jallow. You get the platform now.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I hope everybody they do well. And I want to start by saying this is not a good news for nurses within Sierra Leone, even overseas. We serve with the practice nursing. For the find out, say, we nurses them, they neglect patients them. We nurses them, they request for money from patients them. We nurses them, they let it do their job, just because we understand. I really want to say, yes, we understand, say, they didn't get paid, for some time, but Lord not forget how we went into this profession. Some may not agree with me today, but, we should agree on this one. If you choose this profession, for ensure, say, you go do, or you will try for practice, with human dignity, provide compassion, and ensure that you advocate for your patient, in healthcare, no matter whether this person can even pay you, even if they don't have the ability to pay. You don't take that oath day, the day where you graduate, the day where you do your pinning ceremony. So I really want to say I'm not happy with the fact that, some of the allegations them where they don't put up, say, the nurses then do. And if indeed these are some of the things that I said, what I said is really true, this is not what nurses do. Nurses need to be able to care for their patients and be accountable to the responsibility where they don't give them. For no say, if you get a patient, you get to look after the patient. You never for look at the money. If you get anything with the money, take it to the administration. After we don't care for your patient, after we don't ensure that the patient is stable, after we don't ensure that the patient in safety, now is paramount thing for they do every day we go to that job day. If you feel safe, we step foot into the job, or the place to the hospital, you're not going to perform your duty as a nurse, you're not for take the trip to the hospital. Because if your patient die because of your negligence, then they sue you. Not only then they sue the hospital, then they sue you, the nurse. You can see them encourage nurses here in the United States for take liability insurances. There's a reason for that. Because whatever the hospital they cover, some things they cover you, the nurse. There are code of ethics when it comes to nursing. There are principles of nursing that needs to be followed. So for find out, say, nurse didn't look out to the old man and he lost his life, I am sad by it. This is my profession, and this is not how you should practice nursing. And we have to be, held accountable for some of the things that they do. despite the challenges and where we understand, say, it go on na the country because they not pay the nurses them on time. That the government gets fault in this because we don't talk about this before. Say, government for ensure, say, it pay the nurses them on time for avoid things like this, negligence, which I don't voice before. If the nurse not get paid on time, not get the things that way they need, not provide them with the equipment that way they need, then go they rush for do the work what they're supposed to do at a very sensitive way or in a timely manner that would save the patient. They're not going to do them correctly, and that way the patient they die. I've said this before, but this is what the new direction have led us to, right? But that again, even I'm saying that not for make like anybody, change that oath the way you take from the day where you graduate, where you don't, say, you take an oath to care for the sick, with human dignity, regardless of race, gender, ethnic background, or country of origin. There's more to that than where it came from. So we have to acknowledge and accept the fact here. It is not the way for nurses to act. Nurses have to understand that they are obligated to all people, especially when they don't assign a patient to you. You for ensure, say, you do no harm to the patient. Anything where say it go harm the patient, you don't do. Let's even take an example. Hand washing. Where we say with the practice, we preach to people that every day say wash your hand. If the nurse, for example, left a patient room, knowing that this patient, he don't touch this patient, whether with gloves or bare hand, and did not wash their hands on their way out, and then go to another patient, then go insert that patient from whatever the other person gets, because they don't follow the protocols. So that's where do no harm comes in. For an example, is one of them. It's many more. Right? You're talking about, beneficence. You're talking about non-maleficence that requires the healthcare provider to do no harm to their clients, either intentionally or unintentionally. So, and also nurses have to follow the goals and rules of primary healthcare when they're caring for patients. So there's code of ethics that don't change. It doesn't matter where you practice in. And I want people to understand this. It doesn't matter if you practice it in the United States, Europe, or Sierra Leone. How a nurse should act when it comes to how they care for a patient, it's a sacrifice. You will never get paid the way you should be paid when it comes to nursing or healthcare. Sometimes you even see they say nurses do more than physicians because you are the one with the patient at the bedside more than the doctor that comes, maybe do their rounds and go, discuss the patient. You're the one giving the medication. You're the one ensuring that the care is done. But if you fail to do any of those, it comes to you. So you have to provide safe, competent, and compassionate care that is ethically in ensuring that you're promoting somebody's health and their well-being. At the same time, you're not only promoting that, you're respecting the patient's own decision as they make them. And you want to ensure that you maintain privacy, confidentiality, justice, and accountability. That's some of the codes of ethics in nursing that I believe our nurses need to follow regardless of what's happening. It's a sacrifice that we should try to understand and follow. Then there's few things I want to take out of the complaint. The one that is ready to sue the head of administrator. If the patient is going for a procedure and that procedure requires anesthesia, the patient has to be NPO, meaning nothing by mouth. If that's the reason why this patient was put on NPO, they have the right to do that, to ensure the patient is NPO, because then they can cancel the surgery, or if they go through surgery, the patient gets anesthesia, there are medications patient gets that causes, some of your organs not to work. If you give food, they're going to aspirate. And that aspiration can lead to pneumonia and many other complications. And talking about sanitation in the hospital, that is not the role of the nurse. The nurse will call and ask for somebody to take care of, cleaning the place, but that is not her job. So let's not mix things here. If you have a problem with how the hospital looks, how they're doing certain things that is not nursing, you take it to the administration, not to the nursing, but the nursing will be there to support and advocate for the patient. So it's very sad for find out, say, the person died, and the big fault, we know, say they. But I know one nurse then forget, see, then self get a young part for play. As they always hold other people them accountable when it comes to your profession, then there are things that will then hold you accountable for. Yes, somebody could be responsible for this, but who's going to answer to that call? That would be, it's just like if you have a registered nurse and a LPN, or you get a CNA, then get things that they're responsible for. But the ultimate problem will go to the registered nurse, because he or she is the licensed professional. So there's so many ethical issues here that's been laid out that we need to look into, that we hope that the Ministry of Health, the CNOs, meaning the chief nursing officers in the country, can look into this and try to get some form of, dialogue with the nurses about really what's in the go on in terms of how they practice and how they render care to the patient. And we want to say we're sorry what happened to this family, but we hope say things will get better in our country. We will hope say, the healthcare system will be strengthened, that the healthcare workers then will really get them pay without even feeling like I'm not getting paid. It's like they're actually just asking for the bare minimum, something that will take care of them. This is a mixed feelings here right now, but that doesn't change what nursing should be all about. That's the truth. And we have to accept that today and know that something went wrong, and it went wrong in the line of duty. So I'll leave it here with the hope that things will get better, with the hope that our nurses will learn from this and take their job very seriously, regardless of whether they're paying them or not. We've listened to videos that they don't get paid for months, sometimes years. And that's a shame on our government's part. They should be ashamed of themselves, thinking in this pandemic that you will hold somebody's pay for more than 8 weeks. The last time we dealt with that. Just give them their minimum salary. They should be fine. So I'll leave it there, and I really hope, we learn from this and that things like this get corrected. Because if we don't, it might get worse. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you, ma'am. Make we carry with us friend. Make we hear waiting in get for we inside this topic today. Yes, us friend, you get the platform, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Triple A. And thanks to previous speaker, to Doctor. Thanks very much to Mr. Usman back. And welcome to all the listeners and viewers then. In terms of health issue in Salon, actually we know say I think we don't cripple for quite a long time. It comes from us the one that we deliver, then the one that we they try to bring up the logistics. The ministry now they go up to the government, and then in terms of the logistics and back what they need in terms of the consumables, what then they use the we will say field environment and even the environment in problem. Wouldn't they just they try for bio. But we always see people in the kind side in between when are always donors and NGOs and even United Nations, when are UNDP, you see all these organizations in coming in for selling would try for develop. And then you see back we own sector, we get the one that we they ready for work, then they. And you get the manpower when at the actual nurses that we try for deliver this. But when you first look at this, you will look at them in different perspectives. You first of all you look at the number of nurses then you know to talk about the number itself of nurses in Salon. You go look at in two sectors. You will look say first of all we don't get a time when we don't introduce nursing schools them when a free term. They actually register, but some of them they close down now. All right, so why it will create them not only because of what sometimes in the education lab people not able to go take the GCSE that way for go university, college, then so they may get the aspiring back for one for do nursing from different areas. So you can't get an influx of people that would not qualify for any place and they when some of them actually not to be state registered nurses because the only state registered nurses there that cause they then they do an not only. Then now they don't extend them for go na thing will be force. And some other history, but they all day under that commerce, they now they don't call it as a commerce. So you know what you so you look at the number of the nurses then. Yeah. So you look at the nurses then, where it be say the number don't accumulate. So government not able to absorb them. All right, because the types of payments with them for see them pay, within them budget for see them will pay the number of nurses they can't increase, it will get a problem to them. So that's be one issue. The other issue now, he left to the one that now we come back. Some of them so boku, few of them when they recruit, they can't face the environment they need now because you look at the development, the economy, things that don't go at get and live in the city and even the big towns there. It can't expensive and the salary not go up. So those are the one area. So you get for begin involve some of them one for do minor pips, but then they call them pips. So we did it. But some of them they do in a way when an extensive one, especially now. It be say they see and directly where will they go. So that day, Mr. Victor Lansana, they try to address in the first phase, when are the attitude and the behavior of these people that wouldn't come as nurses. Because of one, they don't get boku, who don't come inside, and then some of them do that so they don't come government, the budget, they know they increase them because all the sectors and they give budget to government. For them go give them. But most time the budget it come in different form. But then your fiscal way for system way for increase their salary, it can become crippled gradually. They move on from 800 and go to 1 gram, 1.5, 1.3. But it still not they go too far yet. So that side is one sector that one day. We go see it will affect some behavior. But you go look against it, some they not being inside for the love of humanity. Only because of either for reasons. You don't go saying a bad thing when they say about the noise there, but some of them will likely come for not for say actually then get that loss in there, go them go directly, that love them go show them, say and they work genuinely. But when you look at this very guy Victor Lansana, he really don't go for go look and see and he believe, not to an opinion base. He don't go and see na the ground for himself, he observe. Because na Connaught Hospital, na they himself trained. And for some reason, I may be there at the same set. I not be even know until I see I wanted. I'll be at the set 28. And I've been known very well where he been look very liberal and hardworking. If I learn some skills from him, because he work like the community before he come inside the nursing. For can be inside. So I know and say he actually left the job because I don't say how they work. You see, he know they put money before. He always present. And at that time they were all trained. Now during that hard time when the revolution be day on. What the war be the gun, but he be always there. So in now was he understand waiting nurse for able for do. He address the back so then they owe them good but not only because of waiting. The other issue now come inside government in terms of logistics. So it can become a chain work. So that is saying then they try for act so that they go put back this act on the 1956 act for replenishment. What they talk, within government, their responsibility and the responsibility of the nurse. Who you did it. Who said they get for only accountable. Then you said the government they get for only accountable. So you see that side and this, but all this they stem up from where logistics they come. And wherein we see United Nations development, then they say the aim, where they aim for do, what is then the plan for do before this man, what they call Samuel Doe, now the UNDP chairman, they even get the UN rep back, Sunil, where they left. But then all they come to the area where then they talk, say, then they monitor the development for each government they do and how then they make an effort, accompany them alongside. Sometimes then they bring in money in the form of cash for say, okay, I will build this. Because right now, UNDP, they build the School of Nursing, then quarters then, because the quarters they all been get them very narrow. So then they extend and now go towards Kube, when UNDP they do them. So UNDP they can, then they give the force, then train back Tradiria and extend. So now they give the physical force. But it left to how they write plan and projects. The money they go back so that they go able for buffer certain areas there. But it left to the government for able for say, would they budget this year? And these are primary things. When the health of a country not well, the other side, they all over the, if we start for say one human capital, the now people away well, now then therefore bring this human capital. So all that side and they, so it left to the UNDP back for they say, okay, then so just say from what they saw, they say that they try for advise government then now, for them when they look how they go able for do their law then. And inside the manifesto, when they can't give, then they try to make sure they get something about food, security, education, health, and the foundation of the human capital. And they make up that one day. They try to bring all that here. But I don't know how effective they will put them while they do the development. And the money, most of the time they cannot through in the past, then pass and give government. So he left to how transparent this year they go on. It is then that the government, when they try for land, they say yes, there are problems with donor money coming into parliament, but that one in a different sector. But it's left to it now, how is this donor money distributed for letting fiscal year will begin? Then we embark now on the money, instead of with the repair. So, oh, we don't spend money for repair, they will not see the big repair. Instead of they put the money now for a salary, for the long running, and then the money where they can then go do the physical aspect of it. It actually entails quite a lot in terms of then nurses then behavior yonder, because one side would have in die one aspect today. If you look back, there was right for them and then we treat the man, because I believe say that is an emergency case, not an elective case that part they go. So in any emergency case, most hospitals, if you actually then get right PPE them, one are the protective thing then what I believe say they will get, and then work out well with a good team, then for able for operate that party. The only thing they for just follow the IPC in terms of take on at the hospital, what then they for do for protect themselves. So that side is a negligence actually. They're not for able to operate even as a COVID case. I don't go say I will compare with Europe now. But when they go to hospital now, so then they pass them, pull them at A&E, something at theater, then they pull them, then get COVID over, then sick back some sick one operation, so now hip operation. But as they say again, it's in a simple PPE, then they just apply. Now they protect themselves. So they not even get much now yourself, because Salon we don't get stuck. Some of them they short, but all I they say they're supposed to have operated that party despite even get COVID or put an away because the emergency case. So in a management issue now again, look under one that side because of one, then they boldly ask for money for say let them do for them things there. For them to raise money. You will ask say if they don't know, but presently in those times it was a circular thing was easy for them to catch somebody quick. But now things in the extent. So I believe say like what government would they bring, they're supposed for the accountability and to say what they bring is sustainable because they actually get now a project to then say now free medical, then bring that in in 3 forms. Every 2 or 3 months, then they bring quota. They don't attend the second quota they bring recently. But some of these things when they bring, now things are way vital, where people are able for really get the benefit of that free health day in terms of the operation this way, and the for us stop them, all those kind of things. So then get for look into those things. We say that then we get for look to. Then they want the way they can't give, we don't not just take from there. Then do society we block them. They know they see because it comes to side procurement. Now me get for go buy this. So that side, most of the time, the one they want are the donors there, and UNDP, now decide that one day, then they able to blank them up. But that's the area where they say that then therefore accompany the government. So they're supposed to be very smart in those areas and looking at them. Well, I only hope, say, the government as them did it now, then go able for they put their strategy, then try for no say, with the two voting and the call, an extra layer of assurance. The extra layer of assurance, if they get the manpower, we look after them, and then they deliver, and the environment is set up for help, because that's the main thing. So that if we never broke corner self, we'll build and back, we'll all repair, and then we try for wait for the big one they make now, and then the one they want at the workforce, we try for bringing them in, so that then we're able to qualify and do what they do. But themselves as nurses, them, I only hope say their attitude, they go able for look into them and therefore talk to themselves and merge again. While the God will help for let them go look after their salary. That's what I'm take for tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Uswen. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're most welcome.
Make we come with Tony. Make we waiting and get for we today. Yes, Tony, you get the platform, sir.
Yeah, Fambule Muna Kushe and Kabo. I will start with one area where I feel say now lacking, especially in we institutions them where we get Sierra Leone, public institutions them we in our controls. Not that we not get good staff or we not get good brains them, but the negligence in performing or executing the duties now the problem can be. And one reason if we check do 360 degree in all areas, people don't know say they're not feel say when you get a job, you get to take the job serious, then they make them call you Mr. or Mrs. This is not perception. This is reality. I don't dinner the gone, the mama die and one area we have to say they really need for strengthening. You understand? Although say the pay no better. You understand? The pay really small compared to trends and inflation with the happen at the country or the world at large. But when you sign for a job, you get for make sure say this job what they do. Now then your livelihood they come out. Then but because the not get units, you understand? If you say hospital in Sierra Leone for establish a unit where they deal with compliance or we like the assurance units, finance institution we call revenue assurance unit or this or that. You understand? That compliance unit the way they make sure say in every hospital then they get like a questionnaire with patients discharge or anything, they give them feedbacks of waiting at the treatment, would that mean special, would that mean they take care of you if you see special, not for me then at the floor, things that we see them can work on for improve, and then deal with those feedback for improve the output of things. But we not get them. What you find out say the happen, there is serious conflict of interest now with hospital them. Everybody they fight for sell even personal drugs we get when I want. Secondly, or they try for if I register people them, they want for me they give them tip or maybe the tip or the mokufe and they put it before. You understand? That's the problem with the apple. Cut across all whatever. It's not only the health ministry or health industry but most areas them now they happen. And that they really affect productivities. If we get for the improved or we get for the developed, we have to take that aspect very, very, very serious. Wherein you get people them way not to just authority where you can check, but you get people them where we on the ground where they ensure say people are doing their job. You understand? Because what's expect doctor for they go back for go begin do supervision or whatever, just like our doctors told me they say, oh no, or senior or officials and whatever. But get a unit where they don't necessarily mean say they can be medical people, but their role is just supervision, make sure say people are doing their jobs and make the hospital know say these people are not here just for witch hunts, you understand? But they therefore make the ensure say people are doing their jobs and they do them to the best of their ability. Now, Sierra Leone, you will see, because I'm with the talk right now, what people then for do, then go see when they argue about football. Patients or people that way, or clients or whatever, they outside, they wait, then go sit down, they talk on different things, where no material to the job, where they affect government revenue as well. You understand? I feel say another area, especially for the big hospitals and within at the big towns, they don't forget CCTV. They have to get CCTV where then a strategic positions them, strategic area then where they ensure say people and they do their job, you understand? And then CCTV, they not just go for the like furniture. They go for the they're working and everything 24 hours, 24/7. Wherein the money when they come, they have to review and see what's happening, what's going on, and write reports and forward them to the authority when in charge, when they deal with those complaints. You understand? If people that see say those things that they're in place, those smaller things that they're in place, we go and just say, oh, I mean, even if somebody know what you know, say camera the up you aid, you will know how they behave. You understand? Now so they take reduce even in Alunga Airport. People then they first tell, you know, when you reach Alunga Airport, someone they ask for money. Now you see the guy the way they say, then they afraid. Then they afraid because they don't say the people then they where they watch them camera, then they over the head and they can't think anything. Now so we need for doing we hospitals then. You understand? But I will tell you, everybody where they get their own personal interest. Everybody they try for sell in medicine where they get for. So there is total the concentration. You understand? There was somebody where I know where get accidents in a salon, get accidents, you go to hospital. They're not treated until the next day. In answer, say, at the end of the day, they don't amputate there. Imagine somebody get accident, even say, they go to the hospital all night, same morning. No doctor, no this, no that, just little outpatient. By the time when they come in, and don't swell like a leg, it don't big like a leg. There is no way. That's why they amputate the hand. So when you look at all the things that way they happen, you understand, it don't make clear we country go further. Because if making usually say health area, the area where they bring foreign exchange. Not just like what would they talk about diamond or this or that. If we health system, we really structure. We get all in things, then they parameters, then they working, we are people, and they show say productivity or make sure the person can hospital go for a concern for well and go back in our house. You find out say people that in a neighboring country, then go they want for car. Because if 1 or 2 person on car, you understand, you don't see say, hey, this person can salon well, then go online, they watch review and see say yes. Connaught Hospital get 4-star or 5-star review, people and they write very well. So people, those are the things they look at. They're not just they go, you understand? If everybody is running to Ghana, no, there is nothing special about Ghana. Just take the reason being, look at how we government institutions, government schools that they run, and how we private school that they run. The same teachers, same students say, the same nurses that work where they work in a private hospital. Now the same hospital, some of the ones where they work in a public self-train. But when you go to the private hospitals, you see people and they do their jobs. They minimize the rates of switch and they're on their phone and go iPhone do their phone. But in public hospitals like a salon, you see people they hold their phone. In fact, somebody go sick, we are call it IPA or whatever. Somebody go sick when na big or somebody na the society. They're busy taking pictures. When you don't violate the man in privacy or human rights or IPA or whatever we they call an AI. You understand? So all those things, there's small things in there. They therefore put policies in place. I listen to the man they talk about 1965 laws there. We lost them and we book the whole archaic. Even the labor law is 1971. But when you find out, every time people are talking, they focus on the politics side, and that side, and they aspect anyway suits the politician. What's more important to them are the areas that they may try for touch. But they have so many laws that within that book. If they will review those laws, they implement and they make sure say people then follow to letter Abraham. But good thing the way they happen, you know they happen because people they're afraid. Because you know when you flare out some of those things, there is a consequence. And when you know say you go for lost your license or you go for you go for probably suspend you, people then go pick ship. They go pick ship. That's the reason why private institutions are doing well. There's no magic because the laws are working, there's enforcement, there's proper supervision and everything. And with public institutions, it's lacking. It's very lacking. So it affects the whole thing. I feel say now that we do just like how everybody say. We have good nurses. We have some of the good. I feel say the good ones say more than the bad ones. You understand? Well, if we cannot get those things, those little things, we put them in place. They will still cry the same. Even if they're being beautiful, even if they come with the state-of-the-art hospital, furnished with all automated or whatever thing where you think about and the Western world is baby. If the enforcement, if they're not able to work on those little things, then people then will still go to them beautiful hospitals and they die. Because the little things then will for perfect. Now then we know they treat with importance. That's my main take. They just have to brace up or tighten their seatbelts and whatever. But we go weekly, but then go for try,
Thank you very much, Tony. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, brother.